Hello again. Welcome to another edition of the Brattlecast. This is Jordan Rich, along with my dear friend Ken Gloss, the owner-operator and the maven of the famous Brattle bookshop in Boston on West Street. And if you haven't been, what's the matter with you? You got to get there. And I'm a regular browser, but there are many people coming to the city who check you out. And Ken, we thought we'd talk a little bit about something that you could apply to a lot of businesses, and that is the evolution of the book industry, the book business. I was reading some stats that suggest up to 50 million people, maybe more, are now listening to audiobooks and Kindles and all kinds of devices, ebooks. Still, you're packing people in and having a great time. So let's talk about the business, how it's evolving.
Whenever I speak, when I do question and answer, one of the most common questions I get, how is the book business changing? How do computers affect things? How does the internet affect things? And the simple answer is I could probably do 10 podcasts on that, each one of them an hour long. But it definitely is changing. There's no question about that. There are a lot of types of books that before the internet, before computers, were very good sellers. Anything that you just needed the information from. In other words, how many dictionaries have people bought recently? How many encyclopedias? And it actually goes beyond that. Things like art books. People have these big, and they tend to be expensive, and they had large libraries of art books or books on antiques with beautiful pictures. Now, all that information is online. It's free for the most part. They're actually, with a good computer screen, probably the pictures are as good or better. So a lot of those very expensive art books have gone way down in value because you don't need them anymore. You bought them for the information. Another thing that's changed tremendously is how-to books. In other words, how to fix your car, how to knit something, because quite honestly, how to play tennis. I had a customer. He had recently retired. And I mean, he's been a customer for a long, long, long time. And he said, I've retired and I want to start playing tennis, and he wanted to play chess also. He has more time to do it. He says, do you have any good books on chess and on tennis? And we went up to the section and we found one or two. And he said, actually YouTube's better, because in YouTube you can watch someone with a backhand swing.
Right.
You can watch, putting spin on the ball, how your feet should be placed, or chess moves and settings and so on. It's all online. And he says it's easier, it's fun. I mean, he still likes the books, but that type of how to fix your car, how to do this, again, you don't need it as much, but people still like books. They still like the hold, the feel. And I'll tell you, if you've got a book to read, when I do use a Kindle and an iPad and so on, it has tremendous advantages for some things. But when I'm reading a book because I want to read a book and it's just fun to read, I like the texture, the feel, the print, the illustrations. So people are still coming in and buying books. Also, a lot of the younger people we have, books are, quote, retro. They're things that they like. They like having them on the walls. They like having a pile of books. On the other hand, when I go to people's houses, when I'm going to libraries to do sum up books, I have an iPad. That iPad has as much reference material that I could fill a whole store with. That would be ton. I'd have to bring a trailer truck with me each time to have all that much reference with me. In a few pounds on an iPad with an internet connection, I have all that information at my fingertips. I have a daughter who lives overseas. The fact that she and the people she works with can access the world's knowledge and information quickly, easily, and very cheaply is fabulous.
As we talk about this, I keep thinking of the places that have come and gone, the big bookstore chains, the Barnes & Noble and so forth. And so many of them just went away. But you're an example, obviously, of an independent bookstore. Granted, you have a sort of a specialty in this area, but It seems to me when you talk about the young people and the hipsters, there's a yearning from a lot of people to have a bookstore, to visit a brick and mortar. Obviously, with customers coming into you all the time, always new customers, it seems, they really like the experience.
And there's absolutely no question that that is a big factor. One of the biggest factors in it, in the book business, some of the big chains, I mean, Amazon has really made a cut into them. Another thing that's made a big difference to the Barnes and Noble and chain is the bestsellers. They're now at Walmart, at Best Buy, very cheaply. So, you cut out that little section, you cut out this section, you cut out that. One of the things, though, that people like bookstores, and if you actually follow it now, there are a lot more sort of little independent bookstores opening up all over, that neighborhood stores that people love, that the Borders bookstores, the Barnes and Nobles put out of business 20 years ago. Now we're starting to come back. But the biggest issue with places like that is not the books, not that people don't like books, not that people love going to a bookstore, especially when there's a reading, when maybe there's a specialty, maybe it's now romance books, maybe there's a cafe. The big issue is real estate. That's the problem, is the rent, property value. One of the reasons that we're still in business and doing well is 40, 50 years ago, we bought this building and we own the property next to it. So I can plan 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15. Admittedly, insurance costs, health insurance goes up. I was going to say up and down, but I've never heard of it going
No.
But costs of taxes, all of that, insurance, but it's predictable. Whereas if you have a 3 to 5 year lease and that lease comes up, it could double, triple, quadruple.
Yeah.
And so the real estate is really the limiting factor. I think people absolutely love to go into bookstores. I mean, there's a wonderful new bookstores in Boston. One's called Parkside Book in the South End. One's Beacon Hill Books, another the Brookline Books Smith. Now, Brookline Booksmith is right across the street from an independent movie theater, the Coolidge Corner Theater.
Mm-hmm.
Loads of people go in there while they're waiting to go to the movies. And that all relates, and people love browsing.
I was just about to say the word browsing is something that comes to mind because so many things are available online and so many things are quick service, one-stop shopping, kiosk stuff. When you're in a bookstore, you're in a completely new world of several worlds of possibilities from fiction to non. So after COVID, I think a lot of people like the idea of getting out and browsing and chatting with others who work there or others who are buying. And it's really fun. It's a socialization event.
And the other thing that happens is in Amazon and the online services are really good. I mean, you want a specific book and you need it quickly. They're great. But the book you don't know you need that might be in a new bookstore or in a used bookstore that you've never heard of might be next to the one you're looking for. And there's always that type of serendipitous finding of it. So that's a big change. Also, too, a lot of books now are put out in large numbers, but also they're in smaller numbers. And a lot of the new bookstores that are showing up, if they're on Cape Cod, they might have a lot of local history. Also, the people who own the store, who work at the store, if you say, I'm looking for a nice gift for somebody or looking for a certain subject, area, field, they might say, well, we don't have that, but so-and-so down the street or in the next town has it. Or, maybe you're really looking for this, or here's a few suggestions, and it's you become friendly and you get to know each other. So that's one of the things. So a lot of the personalization is coming back. A lot of the change, though, is if you want something and you only want it because you need that specific bit of knowledge. The internet does that. You don't have the professor, woman, man, with the walls and walls of books around them, surrounding them, maybe heaps and piles, so that when someone goes, well, when was Napoleon fighting Waterloo? What's the date? They don't reach up to the shelf anymore, pull that one book out, look it up, and they go, oh, that's it. You go click, click, and it all pops up.
The days of Funk and Wagnall's hardcover are over. Ken, as always, a fascinating look at your business, how you operate and successfully operate through all of these changes. Thank you, as always, for adding so much to our lives and for keeping the bookstore healthy and alive.
Well, it's fun, and what I'm really happy about is that new, smaller bookstores are opening, because one of the main things you have to think about with a used and rare bookstore is we need new bookstores to sell people books so they can be used books someday.
Absolutely. 100% agree. You've been listening to the Brattlecast, and we'll have more adventures of books and reading coming up with Ken Gloss. Take care.